Let's start with a small story. It's a pretty old one, so the wording changes from person to person, but it goes something like this. A man and a lion were discussing the relative strength of men and lions in general. The man contended that he and his fellows were stronger than lions by reason of their greater intelligence. "Come with me," he cried, "and I will soon prove that I am right." So he took the lion to the public gardens and showed him a statue of Hercules overcoming the lion and tearing his mouth in two. "That's all very well," said the lion, "but proves nothing, for it was a man who made the statue." We can easily represent things as we wish them to be. This is one of Aesop's fables, and for those who aren't aware, he was a Greek storyteller who told small tales that usually involved animals and ended with the lesson meant to be learned from each fable. In past transmissions, I mentioned semiotic analysis as a way to evaluate the worth of media. Since stories in the modern era are not as simple as Aesop's fables, both in structure and intention, we don't get that convenient line at the end that tells us the author's message. Instead, our storytellers might be motivated by money or the ideas of those that pay them. Semiotics is an anthropological and psychological approach to looking at symbols and signs within the communicated system of a culture to get to deeper meanings and values. Think of it as trying to peer into the subconscious of a culture. Whether it be a movie or an advertisement or a book or even a news broadcast, by considering who is giving us these messages and how well it was received, we can pass our simple ideas through another lens to refine our conclusions. The lion just kind of did it. If the statue was made by a lion, it probably would have been Hercules that was being ripped limb from limb. So in considering it was made by a human, the lion might believe it to be an example of how highly the ancient Greeks thought of themselves. I think that sounds pretty accurate. There's a wealth of technique and lingo that defines levels of semiotics that will even teach you how to break down symbols, language, etc. by how they develop their meaning and how it can affect an individual. In college, my textbook was 800 some odd pages, so to try and put that on a transmission would be hopeless. A grasp of the deeper methods of semiotics will enable a person to extract even more meaning from whatever media they're consuming. If this all sounds interesting to you, I highly suggest you do some personal research. If you don't want to hit a library, a web search will probably get you a number of informative pages. Without getting heavy, here's some questions that a person could use as they attempt a semiotic analysis. Words usually have connotative meanings in that their value has to be given to them. So while they are constructed, the use of language is a matter of necessity, and the value given to them is readily understood by many. If someone speaks in a different tone of voice, or uses aberrant word choices, like myself, it may make someone uncomfortable as it's further away from the linguistic codes of meaning they're used to. This is why some people resent the commercial appropriation of internet memes. While they are dependent on technology, the propagation and meaning of a meme is organically done by individuals. You don't laugh when someone tells you the chicken crossed the road to get to the other side because the punchline has lost its meaning. Imagine how lame someone would look if they wore a chicken crossing t-shirt. Let's get some examples and I'll do the first one with you. If you like, work out your analysis for the examples with the other users in the comments. See if you can figure out what they were supposed to mean to the viewer. Don't worry about making mistakes, and listen to each other to get more insight. A little feedback can go a long way. Alright, are you ready? This was an advertisement, and Geoff Keighley is supposed to be a journalist. This doesn't have the careful planning of a marketing team fine-tuning things in post-production. It's a man, in the middle of an advertising orgy, where each product is transparently fornicating each other. With a more planned out piece of advertising, things can be more subtle and tactful. Geoff is sitting between the green Mountain Dew stand and the wall blanketed in red light to complement the soda and chips. He's set at a point of visual tension, as green and red are complementary colors. Red is an excitable color, supposedly one that makes people feel hungry, where green is a more calming color, one that would make you think of nature. This creates an additional layer of emotional tension. The set is dressed to a minimum. A table to display the product, the stand in the background, some lighting, and a chair for Geoff. Where it all starts to fall apart is in the details. The Halo 4 stand is covered with logos, and the details on the chips and soda are busy, compared to Geoff's clothes, which are all solids and even muted tones. And as he is a person, our eyes are naturally drawn to his face. This bad mixture took its final step when someone took this single screen cap of Geoff's face expressing a fleeting moment of indignity that would have otherwise been overlooked while watching any of the videos. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I would say probably more. Consider the details of blatant advertising, the heavy juxtaposition of some of the more valuable things Geoff says, and the fact that this is a lucrative cross-promotion from 3 big companies, and it becomes a collage of horrible advertising. So try the examples linked in the description and see if you can determine what the meaning of the media is, how they're trying to communicate it, and if it was successful or a failure. With these bits of information in your arsenal, you're that much more capable to handle the bits of media that you're bombarded with. Do yourself a favor though, and read more about semiotics, and you'll see yourself turn into an analytical commando. Try it in your everyday life, and you'll find that it not only gets easier, but will start to happen naturally. Heck, you can even do it to this transmission. I'll tell you now though, my motives are pretty transparent and not that challenging.